and always having your indicator in your hand while you're doing all the drills. Because it's a part of your gear that you're going to have in your hand all the time. So you may as well start training with it right away. So those are the things that I will give you. I'm real excited uh, for you all to be part of our team, our family. As if you read Bob's introductory email that he sent out a couple of days ago, we really are a family. We do care about one another. Do we get into it with one another occasionally? Yes, we do, but there's a lot of type A personalities. So we will teach, and I'll give you a few slides, and I'll talk a little bit more on Sunday. But we will give you foundational training on National Federation High School rules and the mechanics, on the field mechanics that goes with those. But we teach to the lowest common denominator. So if you have some experience, that's great. If you have no experience, that's okay too, because we will start from block one, and I'll give you an example of that Sunday when we talk and meet. So as far as me personally, I've been on the board for about 10 years, going on 10 years. I've been the president of the board for, I'm on my third year right now, and I have a maximum of 4 years. So this year and next year will be my last year of being the president. But we've tried to make some changes, and we really want our umpires to do a couple things. One is have fun out there. Two is hustle. We're always mistakes are going to be made, but don't let them be made out of being lazy. You'll hear me say that till I'm blue in the face, and you're tired of hearing it. So hustle whenever you're on the field, because our customers, the coaches and the players and the schools that we cater to, that we service, they expect, and they should expect, that the umpires are in position, knowing what they're supposed to be doing, and doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I'll get more into that on Sunday, but I'm like I said, I've been here 10 years, and why? And this sounds sort of corny, but why did I become an umpire? Because I was a player, I was a coach. I coached my boys until such time that they needed to go off to an organization, or they were in high school or something like that. And then I became a fan. And once my youngest son left out of high school and went to college, then I came in to uh, to this because I wanted to give back to a game that has given so much to me. And it sounds sort of corny, sounds a little maybe like a bumper stickerish, but really that's the reason that I'm here. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's a good outlet for me. And everybody has different reasons. And if you're in it for the money, that's okay too. Just make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Now, we have our other instructors that some of them that you will see tonight, and some that you won't see tonight, but you'll see on Sunday or an upcoming Sunday. Um, they will tell you, and I will tell you too, that we will teach um, National Federation of High School rules, which doesn't cover everything, doesn't cover a lot of the summer and fall baseball. And we will teach 90-foot field mechanics, not 60-foot field mechanics that Little League does, 90-foot field mechanics. So that's what we teach to, because we are trying to develop high school umpires. And if that's what you want to do and your schedule allows it, we want you, and we want you badly, because we need more guys that are willing to hustle and willing to be on the field for high school baseball. So you'll hear more of that from others more than just me. But that's what we're hoping that you want to do. If you do not, or your schedule does not allow you to do high school ball, we will still train you, but we will train on high school rules and the 90-foot field mechanics. All right, that's it for me. Alex Strauso, you want to say just who you are, how long you've been here, and why you joined? why you want to be an umpire.
Hi guys, how are you? Thanks, Greg. Alex Russell. I've been here 10, 11 years on the training team for a few years now. Like Greg, actually, I came in with Greg. We've been friends when we used to coach together, and you know, baseball's been in my family a long time, and since I can't play and I'm old and I can't run the bases and do all that stuff as a player, it was time for me to finally decide to do umpiring, and I love it. So it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hard work, but you guys are very fortunate to this training team is the best in the state, hands down, and like they said, we have a small group this year, so you guys are going to get a lot of stuff thrown at you. You're going to digest about 10, 20% of it. Don't get discouraged. Um, but with the group you have and the next 8, 10 weeks we have, you guys are going to benefit getting so much stuff thrown at you. And we're gonna have time to go over it and over and over it. So don't get discouraged in the first few weeks when you hear all this stuff and you're confused, and it'll all fall into place. And I tell everybody that don't get discouraged. So welcome aboard, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday.
All right, thanks. Giovanni, Gio, you're on mute.
You're muted, Gio. Bottom should be on the bottom left. Go on to someone else. Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say go with the next one.
Yeah, you're good, Gio.
Welcome
We hear
guys.
you.
I want to echo what Greg and Alex Russell says. The passion for the game. Um, but I'm gonna add my part. Why baseball means a lot to me is because in the early '90s, we lost our home in Puerto Rico, and a concession stand became my house for 2 years. So literally, I could say to all of you the baseball field, it was my backyard for 2 years. So it means a lot. I joined this board back in 2012, and I've been learning through the years, and I still learn every year. So, what Alex and Greg says, you guys gonna get the best out of the state of Connecticut. So, welcome, and any questions? I'm gonna be see you guys on Sundays, and we're here for you guys. All right, welcome.
All right, thanks, Gio. Robert, if you want to just quickly say who you are and how long you've been on the board, what positions you held, and why you became an umpire.
Hey guys, my name's Robert Torres. I've been on the board for 16 years. Uh, I'm the right now I'm the active what am I? The
Area one,
area rep.
area rep. Yep.
I wanted to get it right. So I'm the area rep, and I mean, I don't know, I've been doing this for a while. I love it. The passion is there. I'm doing college baseball now. But what I will tell you guys is if you put the work in, the return is very, very good. And three things that I learned, they told me the other day, and I'm going to share with you guys is, and Rudy's going to love this one. Always be honest with your assigner. If you take a game, don't give it back because it makes his job 3 times harder, and go out there and do the best you got. And Gio was right. You guys are going to get trained by the best guys out there. You're gonna when you go out there, we're gonna make sure that you're ready. So welcome aboard, and can't wait to see you guys on Sunday.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, Vinny DeRubius, you're up, buddy.
Hi guys, I'm Vinny DeRubius. I'm with the board. This is my second stint with the board, on for about 8 years now. I was on right out of college after playing ball. I was on for about 4 or 5 years and then started coaching. And so it's more of why I became an umpire, just to get back to the game, teach younger kids, the right way to play ball and act on the field, and just get back to the community and have fun at it. So, and welcome aboard. Good luck to you guys. Work hard. Everybody does. So you'll enjoy this.
Okay, thanks, Vinny. All right, Gary, you're up. You're on mute.
Got it. My name is Gary. It's my third year on the board. Um, I wasn't around baseball for a long time, and I started playing. I played with Alex up there in the corner, and I got on the board, and I'm trying to just do as many games as I can, get my experience, and I worked with most of the people here, and I'm just trying to get better and get back and just be on the field as much as I can. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Gary. So those are our instructors. I will give our signing commissioner a chance to talk to you here in just a second. But Gary, and you'll see another one of our instructors, John McGowan. They haven't been on the board very long, but they have made an impact through their hustle and desire to do the job right and to learn about the game as much as they can. So it doesn't matter how long you've been on the board. It's more of a meritocracy, meaning what you have done and how you have done it will help make your our determination on where you sit in the pecking order. So uh, Gary is new to our training team, and we welcome him because we need guys that want to be on the training team. All right, Rudy, our assigning commissioner, Rudy Costello.
All rise.
Hi, Bob. What are you doing? Hi, my name is Rudy Costello. I've been umpiring since 1972. Now, if you do the math, you're probably wondering, how the hell are you still umpiring? But I am not actively umpiring, but I am very much involved in the Fairfield County chapter of baseball umpires. Half of the time I joined this board, I should say, in 1982. And so out of those 45 years, at least half of them, I was both an active umpire and an assigner. And now that's all that's left is the assigning part of my membership. Um, I always look forward to the beginning of each season because we're an organization, we're like a team, and every team, every organization involved in baseball, each season they come up with new players, new members, in our case, new umpires. So I always look forward to that. Um, to reiterate what Greg Horton said, that we do need umpires, and as he said, quite badly, um, to cover mostly the high school umpires is where the need is, and that's because the times of the games are sometimes difficult for um, our umpires to get to the games because of their full-time jobs. That's the way it is. I assume that's the way it's always going to be, although there are each year there seems to be new fields that are now have lights, so that helps a lot. But at the same time, we are in an area that night baseball in April and May is not the best time to play. So you're going to be trained, as Greg said, for the for being high school umpires. If it's not this year that you're going to be able to do high school umpires, maybe there'll be years coming up after you get a couple of years under your belt and say, "Gee, I think I really want to do this at a high school level." So good luck, and I'll be seeing you next time.
Thank you, Rudy. Now, for all the students, Rudy's job is to assign our umpires to games, and you'll get a whole thing. We have an electronic assigning tool that helps him do that. But Rudy is one that you want to be good friends with because he controls how many games you get or don't get. And I'm being a little facetious there, but Rudy is the one that assigns all of our games, right through freshman ball, junior varsity ball, varsity ball. So he's the man that puts all that mental preparation together to put the games with the umpires. All right, Bob. I think we're done with our stuff. You can introduce yourself and kick it off however you like.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. Bob Melms, good to meet you guys. I'm on the board the year after Greg and Alex, so I've got 9 or 10. Who's counting? Um, I took a little different route. I'll start why I started umpiring. I was coaching my son in Little League. I've been a baseball guy. I remember being 9 years old, charting pitches for the game of the week, if you remember that. So I've been a baseball guy my whole entire life. Coached my son in Little League, left him to real coaches after that, and then I just wanted to stay in the game, and here I am. About the same time I got into umpiring, I retired from the corrections department, so I had a lot of free time. I ended up traveling around the country doing different umpire schools and whatnot, and uh, and it worked out well for me. I'm a full-time D1 umpire in college, but we don't talk about college ball much on this board. We're a high school board. I'm here to help you guys. I just trying to give you an idea of my background. Uh, I've just always been a baseball guy, and this really fits the bill for me. You know, I'm on the field. I tell kids that they make a good play or something. I'm like, you know what? I got a front row seat to this shit. This is good. You know, and they appreciate it. They know that I'm out there having fun. But I'm also out there taking care of business. Um, I'm going to say something that you're going to hear many, many times over the next few weeks. You are never going to watch a baseball game the same after starting this. You're going to watch umpires. You're going to watch the way they move. You're going to watch why they move to where they move. You're going to understand why a pitch that maybe you thought was a ball is called a strike or vice versa. Um, it's going to really open up your eyes. We're going to help open up your eyes to some of the intricacies of the game, and it just makes the game that much better. It's an awesome game. Um, Gosh, where else can I go with that? Um, I'll tell you this much. I didn't hear anybody else mention it, but you can make a pretty good dollar working baseball games. We're helping get ready for spring, and then the summer comes, and you're going to find some different assigners to work for in the summer, and you, you can really bank some coin. If I tell this to college kids all the time. You want a summer job, come be an umpire. You get to really pick your own schedule, and you get to put some money away. Some of it's cash, so you don't even have to claim it. I didn't say that out loud. Um, but it's a great second job, and I have a hobby that I absolutely love, and they pay me to do it. What's better than that, you know? And I've made all my best friends through baseball. I honestly say some of my best friends are you're looking at their faces right here. So we do care about each other. We look out for each other. We work hard for and with each other, and it's a great thing to do. That's us. Let's start with you guys. Who wants? Let's just go from the top here. Emilio, you're on the top of my list here. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. So, I played baseball as a kid, kind of gave it up probably prematurely because I fell in love with other sports a little bit more, but I always loved the game. I love being around sports in general, all sports. I got two kids, both daughters, so I never had a chance to coach them in baseball or anything else, volleyball a little bit and soccer a little bit. So I just want to be back around sports, be back around, kids that are playing a game. I coached flag football a little bit. I used to coach a little bit out of high school football a little bit, but baseball seems a little bit more, I could do it a little bit more. The timing's better. The games are a little spread out differently and accessible. And I just want to be back around, like I said, athletes, kids, sports again, because that's my love and passion, sports. So, and my kids don't play sports, so I have to get that outlet somewhere. So
That's
that's why
great.
I'm getting
That's
involved.
great. Welcome aboard, man. Oh, one thing, well, it just dawned on me. Is anybody here a military vet? Are any of our new guys military vets? Okay. Well, we have a pretty heavy military presence in our ranks. Uh, Greg is a retired Marine colonel, helicopter pilot. I'm not retired, but I'm ex-Army. You'll meet Russ next Wednesday or next Sunday. Russ is a retired Army sniper, and we have a pretty heavy military presence. If you were military, I could help get you some reduced cost gear, but um, we'll move right along here. Jason, why don't you talk to us a little bit?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I am Jason Henry. I live in Monroe. I have four daughters. Two are graduating college this year, and then I have a sophomore. They all play lacrosse. I was heavily involved in Monroe lacrosse, Massac High School lacrosse. Um, Watching the Little League World Series this year, chatting with my buddy, I'm like, I'm not coaching lacrosse. I'm not involved in lacrosse. I think I want to get involved in baseball. I haven't played since, Little League Babe Ruth myself, 1986, and um, men's softball here in town. So I said, I throw my hat into Monroe and just see if they need umps and see where it goes from there. So they hooked me up with some people here, and here I am. So
Here we are. Yeah,
here
good.
we are.
Welcome aboard, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun. Trust me. Ricky, you're up.
Yeah, Ricky, I have two kids. I used to play baseball when I was younger, all the way probably to some college. Ended up moving from New York to Connecticut. I ended up joining a little league, North End. I'm actually the vice president there. And I see the difficulties of just finding an umpire for a game for a little league. I'm just kind of honestly, I love the game, obviously, but I just kind of want to kind of give a helping hand to wherever it needs, whether it be Nell or Caribe or any league, within the area, kind of, sort of. So,
Right.
and on top of that, like you said, you kind of, not only for the love of the game, you kind of get paid to do a hobby that you kind of love. I do coach at times. Like I said, I'm the vice president, so it has its perks in the sense where it's like you know more or less what you want to do and how far you want to take it. So,
Ricky, I'm curious. Does North End pay more for patched umpires?
I'm not sure. I think it's just one. I think
Okay.
it's just one stipend, but other than that, that's all that that's been told. Me and Jose, the president, now we're good friends.
Sure.
We're kind of that's like my brother, so I'm just trying to help him out.
I did
He
my
won't,
first.
Bob, he won't take non-patched umpires.
Well, there you go. That's even better.
No, he
I did
won't. He won't do
my
that.
my first summer umpiring. I worked for the league that I coached. I coached in the little league I coached in, and I was doing $25 a game by myself, and saw so much crazy, stupid stuff that helped me figure some things out. Yeah, that was a
George Hummel
blast.
Little League.
Yes, George Hummel Little League. That's exactly where I was. Yep.
That's where I started a couple years ago. That's why I ended up here.
Yeah, you did well. There's a story. That's part of the story why I'm umpiring, but I'll leave that part for later. Alex, are you on? Alex Meyer?
Yes, I just walked in. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we'll go with Alex Rivera first. Well, good to see a familiar face, my friend. Wow. How
Same
are you?
here.
Yeah,
Wow.
man.
This is great. I remember watching you umpire a couple games, and a couple years ago I was playing baseball with Gary,
Okay.
and he was telling me how he was an umpire, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool because Father Time wasn't catching up with me. He caught up with me, so I couldn't play anymore. And
Right.
so I thought, I'm a lifelong baseball guy and love baseball ever since a kid and been playing. And so this is a way for me to still be part of the game and not having to run the bases and score from second. And I could make a couple dollars in the process. So
Yeah, he
Right.
owes me a
I could
couple
save some
drinks
of my
still.
hamstrings.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bob, he
That's
still owes me a couple of drinks from. He knows.
Yeah, that's my boy right there. I've known him for and then that's another thing. Rob used to post a lot of pictures on Facebook in his uniform and his umpiring gear. So I was like, man, that's kind of cool, man. I should do that one day. And then I ran into Gary like a year later and he kind of
rightly
set me
so.
up.
Rob is very proud of what he
Robert's a
does.
celebrity. A
Yeah.
celebrity. He's all over the internet.
Yeah.
He's the other mayor of Bridgeport.
Yeah.
Easy, boys, easy.
Settle down,
Right.
Robert.
That's all right, Alex. These guys are great, dude. I love them all. They know.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and my and my, and my son's just as excited
Hey,
as me, umpiring too. He can't wait to go to my games.
Hey,
Nice.
Oh,
Good,
hey,
good.
buddy. How are you?
good. How are you?
Good. Good. All right. And well, Alex Rivera and I used to work together at the Bridgeport jail. Are you still there?
No, I've been retired 6 years now.
Oh my God. Time flies. Can you
Yeah,
believe I've been
didn't
out
you
of there?
work? Didn't you work in Cheshire too?
I was at Cheshire from '05 to '09.
Hmm.
Then I went to Newtown Garner. And then I went back to Bridgeport to finish it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been out
Nice.
6 years already. That's crazy. I remember when you started.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Father Time, uh, Alex Meyer, how we doing? Is
Here.
that pronouncing it right?
Last but not least, right?
Yeah,
Second
Alex
welcome
best for
aboard,
last.
here.
I
man.
got it. Thank you, thank you. So, my name's Alex Meyer. I played baseball for 10 years. I then went to college. After college, I coached high school baseball and AAU baseball, and I stopped doing that because I work for UI, so I have my full-time job, and then it's kind of time to start umpiring. That's the next step.
Yeah, Alex
My-
is the youngest of our six students. So
I'm I'm the young kid on the block. Yeah.
you are the young kid on the block. Yep, yep. But we need youth, and we also need youth to be training aides. So you may find yourself running from time to time when we do our drills.
Oh, great, great. Have the young kid do
Okay,
it. I like it.
Greg,
okay,
I want to
that
share,
that
before we go, last year I went to do a game in Bridgeport and Alex pulled in his car and he got out of the car. And I said, Alex, I'm going to tell you something right now. You are restricted to the dugout for the remainder of the game. Right before we went to the field, just messing with him. I know his dad.
That's funny.
Oh,
That's
okay,
funny.
that's great.
Yeah.
By the way, we have one more student coming Sunday.
Who's that?
His name is Mariano Sanchez. I saw him today, and he's like, Rob, I for some reason I tried to get on, and I don't know what happened. I said, well, we got a Zoom tonight. He goes, Jesus, I got it. I have a commitment tonight. So I got to call him later or tomorrow and get him all set up for Sunday.
Okay, all right. You worked that out with Darren and Greg.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool. Um, so speaking of running on the field, uh, this is a good time if you're not going to the gym or taking care of yourself. It's a good time to start getting your legs underneath you. 7 innings of plate work it can be tiring. Um, 7 innings of base work, I'm here to tell you, if you do it right, it will be tiring. You know, you have there's some running around to do. It's funny when I talk to people and they're like, and I tell them my umpire, and they're like, well, that's easy, right? You just stand there. I'm like, you have no idea because you don't look at us. You don't you have no idea. So it's really a good time to get your legs underneath you, the best you can right now because you got a couple months till the season starts. Um, has anyone started purchasing gear yet? Probably not, and that's okay. All right. So, Greg, you want to go over that on Sunday? Or I could start to lay some stuff out now if you want.
Yeah, I can go over Sunday.
Okay. All right. Um, there is some considerable initial outlay money wise to get started. Okay. You're gonna have to buy a couple shirts. You're gonna have to buy a couple pairs of pants, and they're not cheap pants. They're like $60 each. You're gonna have to buy um a chest protector, shin guards, plate shoes. It adds up. Okay. Um, we're providing you, as Greg told you, we're providing you with a mask, but it's a starter mask. Eventually, you're going to want to upgrade. Um, we're providing you with a indicator, aka not a clicker. Um, and so we're giving you a couple things to start, but there will be some outlay, but you know within your first it'll probably take your first couple weeks of what you take in to to go even, and then it's off to the races from there. You know, so Greg will go over that on Sunday. I'm usually in Connecticut and I help out Sundays, and we would do these classes Sunday mornings, but I'm out of state for until the beginning of the season. So that's why we're doing the Zooms. Um, gosh, anything else we should cover before I jump into some of the other stuff?
No, we'll talk about more admin stuff next week, and you'll hear me say and others say, gentlemen, never leave the area or a Zoom with a question that's not asked. Because if you have that question, probably one of your classmates has the same question. So please don't be shy. There are no egos around here, and there should be no peer pressure. Yeah, we're going to give you shit from time to time because that's part of what we do. But
Comes with the
you know,
territory.
it does. But and so you know, and if you're in a job that you're used to that, that's great. You'll just fit right in. But yeah, never leave a session with a question unasked, because the only stupid question, and there are stupid questions, but the only one really is the one that isn't asked. So please ask questions when you have them.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Is this Wednesday night going to be for the next 8, 10 weeks? I just want to make sure it's in my calendar. And is it the same
It's,
Zoom?
I think it's 7 weeks. February 8th, February 11th will be the last class. We'll have a test after the February 11th, and then February 18th will be the test review.
So it'll be every Wednesday. That's what he wants to know.
Yeah, every Wednesday until February 18th.
Same Zoom link. So if I copy this one into my calendar, we're all set.
I'm pretty sure. Because
Yeah,
I
and
did it's our home Zoom meeting room, so it's the same link.
Thank you.
Bob sends stuff out for every class because he's got other information to give you and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
won't lose this in the future ones. You won't lose this time with the first introduction and all that stuff. So it'll be a little bit more quicker.
yeah. Right. So to answer your question, every Wednesday, starting at 7, using that link up until your exam review, because you're going to be getting the exam on around the 11th February 11th after the 6th Zoom meeting, and then you'll have a week to complete it, and he'll do a review of that exam on the 18th, which is your last Wednesday um, for for the Zooms.
And what happens if we have to miss because we're out of
That's a
town?
good question. That is a great question. We allow 2 absences for the class, because if we allow more than 2 absences, really, there's not enough time to rehash with an individual the information that was missed on the date that they missed. We can absorb 2 absences, but more than that, we just can't absorb.
I think for Sundays it'll be 2. I'll give you one pass on Wednesdays because I'm going to record them all, and I can send you a link to the recording. But I'd rather not do that. I would rather have you in class.
That answer your
In
questions,
fact,
Jason?
this one I'm recording already.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and this is great. I'm away uh, the last 2 weeks, so last two Sundays of January, and
Okay,
one
yeah,
Wednesday in
and
January. So
we know life happens, and we're not asking you to give away things that are already planned, but there is a commitment here, and so we feel that if you miss two of the mechanics, and now Bob has said one of the more than one of the Zoom classes, it's hard to make up that time.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have a lot of info to put out, and we understand some of it's just gonna hit and drop out. We understand that, but we there's a lot of stuff that we really want to get in front of you, and we want you to understand what being an official is about. Being a sports official, not just being a baseball umpire, because we're officiating. We're running a game, so we need to get all that, and our avocation here is really split up into two very specific um, parts as far as the mechanics of what you do on the field and the rules. So we're working on rules. I'm going to try and stay in my lane. I'm really into the mechanics part, but Russ and Greg and all the rest of the training team are more than capable of teaching all that. So on Sundays, you're going to get mechanics, and there's going to be a lot of visualization because you're going to be learning it in a gym instead of on the field for a while, until we get better weather. But it's all going to come together. Yeah, but the more you miss, the harder it is for it to come together. All right. So, why don't we're 45 minutes in already. I don't want to keep you guys too long. So why don't we jump into the next portion here? We'll actually start talking about the curriculum. All right. Can everybody see the blue FCBU screen? We're good there. All right. Greg, where am I on the screen? I don't even know. Am I not on the screen?
No, I don't see you on the screen.
Okay, that's okay. You don't need to
Yeah,
see me.
you're up on the top on my view.
You're on the introduction page. Is that what you're
Yes.
asking?
Yep. All right. Um, I left this disclaimer in here from previous iterations of this. If we show any videos that maybe maybe show that an umpire did something wrong or a student athlete did something wrong, none of this is in the vein of criticizing or demeaning anybody. This is all stuff that we're going to be learning from. That's all that says. All videos are for training purposes only. Okay. And here we go. Hey, Billy Martin being Billy Martin, right? This is part of how how we're officials. You see the umpire there? We are the big boys in the room. Kids will be kids. Managers and coaches are to some extent the kids in the room also. We're the adult. Okay? And we have to remember that at all times. And absolutely, we can't please everyone. That's not even close to what we're doing on the field. All right. We're making calls, we're making decisions, we're moving the game along the way it's supposed to be moved along. We're making sure that everything's played on a level playing field. Every call we make, an out, a safe, a ball, a strike, there's potential for one side or the other to disagree with us. And we don't really care if they disagree with us or not, as long as what they're saying or doing is within the rules. Okay. So what they think never factors into our decisions. We're firm, fair, and impartial. Alex, that sound familiar? We're firm, fair, and impartial, and we are definitely just running the game. It is our show, okay? But to that extent, if it's our show, we have to be able to convey ourselves and display ourselves in a manner which shows them that one, we know what we're doing, two, we're confident in what we're doing, and three, that they know that we're in charge. Okay, we don't have to be the bad cop. We can be in charge by just coach. I hear you. I'll get back to you. We're gonna play the game right now. I hear you, but we're gonna keep moving. It doesn't have to be coach. Be quiet and sit down. I don't want to listen to you. You're not gonna get anywhere that way. Anyways, I digress. All right. So everyone's familiar with Joe West. He retired at 69 years old after working like 5,300 Major League Baseball games. Some people like him, some people don't. I personally thought he was amazing because of all the things I just said. It was his game. He was controlling his game, and he made his calls to the best of his ability. But I I went to pro school in Florida, and Joe came and spoke to us,
Hold on one
and
second, Bob. Hey,
yeah,
gentlemen, if you are not speaking, please go on mute.
I can do that from here. Yeah, Robert, that's you. Okay,
Bob,
got him. Yes.
before you continue, I have to head upstairs. My kids are up there. My wife has some stuff she needs to do.
All right,
So I'm
tuck him
gonna,
in.
I'm gonna back out, okay?
Yeah. All right, Gary.
All
Thanks
right,
for calling, Gary.
I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, man.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Gary.
So I've heard him talk. I've heard Joe talk. What I'm going to show you in a second. I've heard him mention this on a podcast in the past, and he presented it to our class too. And it really rings true with me. He talks about our three responsibilities as an umpire. Our first responsibility is to the game of baseball. The game of baseball. I mean, if you go back to the Cartwright rules, I mean, the game of baseball is before Doubleday, and it's about 170 years old. Okay, it's a grand old game. All right. To that end, our responsibility to the game of baseball is that we're gonna have to make some tough decisions, but every decision we make is within the vein of keeping the game intact. Okay. Second responsibility is to our profession, and I talked on this a little bit earlier. Okay, we cannot make calls thinking that they're going to argue with me or not argue with me based on what the call is. That's not part of what we do. Just call it right and take what heat there is and move on. And that really runs through with me. And our third responsibility, and this is probably our biggest one, is to do what is in your heart, what in your heart is morally and honestly correct. So later on in the course, I have a slide that says it says if a situation occurs which doesn't which isn't covered in the rule book, which probably is not the case, you just didn't remember what the real rule is at the time. Common sense and fair play. If you use common sense and fair play, you'll always be heading in the right direction. So, I'm talking from the mountaintop right now. I know, we're talking about what it means to be an official. Okay. And it's a ton of fun. And you trust me, once you get on the field, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. Some things you're going to get on Sunday. You're going to get our 2026 rules book. Greg said rules book, which is correct. I say rule book, but I'll go with rules book because it even says it there. We'll get a case book. What a case book does is it takes our rules and it gives us examples within each rule and how you should judge the case. And when you get your case books, you'll see how that's set up, and it's very interesting. And this is well, don't worry about the word collegiate there. Our baseball umpires manual is our mechanics manual. And on Sunday, you're going to get the two umpire portion of our CCA mechanics manual. Um, and that's going to be your mechanics Bible. It's there are different ways to do a lot of different things. This manual is what we use, and well, everything that's proscribed there is how we do things. So our awesome trainers and instructors are going to show you via the mechanics manual how we expect you to move, where we expect you to be positioned, and some of the other things that we expect you to do on the field. And you'll get to see that on Sunday. You would have had it last Sunday. Okay. The rule book, you don't have one in your hands, so I'm gonna cover this part briefly. Okay, the rule book is actually split up into 10 rules, 1 through 10 that you can see there. Okay. So if you know that something happened on the field, you weren't sure about a pitcher's motion or a pitcher's delivery, and you want to look it up later, you're going to go to Rule 6 and look in the pitching section, right? If there was something that happened with the designated hitter and you weren't sure if you got that right, that's going to be under substituting. So when you go to the rule book and when you go to the case book, because the case book is also organized in the same way, you'll be able to look things up quickly. And with the electronic version I sent you, you can also look up by keyword. Man, once you start to know the keywords of the rules, once you start to get that vernacular, you get the lexicon, it makes it a lot easier to look things up. You can get right to it. I mean, you have an open book test, right? If you know how to look things up on an open book test, how easy is that? Just a little hint there. All right. How the rule book's organized, I touched on a little bit already. We have 10 rules. Now, each rule is going to be divided into different sections within the rule. So our pitching section might be divided into pitching positions, pitching violations, pitching restrictions. That's all going to be within the rule of pitching. And then those are further divided into sub-articles. So we have a rule. We have 3 different numbers going on a rule, right? If we wanted to look at rule 10.1.1, that's going to be umpiring, general section, game officials, and this is how we annotate it: 10-1-1. So if I give you a rule, like I gave you in the email, and I gave you 219-1, now you know you're going to go to Rule 2, which is definitions, Section 19, which I believe is foul, and number 1. Additionally, and these are the real meat of the rules, is the notes, exceptions, and penalties. Listen, 80, 85, 90% of the game officiates itself. We're calling balls and strikes. We got an easy grounder to the short, and he's out at first. We got a fly ball to center. That's not why we're there. Why we're there is for when weird stuff happens. There's a walk and the runner from first overruns second base and he gets tagged going back into second base. You need to know, is he safe? Is he out? And you need to be able to communicate that with the players and the coaches, especially. So the notes, exceptions, and penalties in the rule book are going to be the weird stuff, this stuff that you're going to need, that you really need to look at. The penalty references, especially. If a pitcher uses an illegal pitching position, you need to know what the penalty is. And in 6-1, 6-1-1, 6-1-2, 6-1-3, you'll see bold penalty references, and it'll tell you what you should have done if it's after the game, or when you're reviewing the rule book for class or just for your own knowledge. Look at the penalty references. If you ever want to do speed reading, if you try speed reading, you read the first and last sentence of every paragraph. If you're going to speed read the rule book, speed read the penalty references. That's going to help you out. Excuse me. Case plays, the case book. The case book is fun. I enjoy reading through the case book, just because it's that's the kind of stuff that we need to know. So the only thing different about the annotations on the case book versus the rule book is we use dots or periods instead of dashes. So if I tell you case play 10-1-1 situation A, 10.1.1 situation A, you're going to know to look in the case book instead of the rule book. All right, you'll see all that on Sunday. Um, couple things, a couple things to keep in mind. And again, this goes towards the philosophy of officiating. Um, listen, everyone's going to have their own ability level that they may achieve or not, but you can everybody can know the rules thoroughly and not and you still may not be a great official, but I'm telling you, if you don't know the rules, you cannot be a great official. You have to know the rules to be the best on the field. So that's to me, that's your number one priority is start to understand the rules. And I already talked about this. Common sense and fair play will come into play when something happens and you're not sure. You know, uh, the batter got hit on the hand and you're not sure if it's a fair or foul ball. The kid's shaking his hand. You know what? I'm going with some fair play there. Go to first base. You know, that kind of stuff. What do I have next? Okay, just a short little blurb. This is from the Wendelstedt School. This video is a few years old, but it has it's very much relates to what we're going to be doing with you guys over the next few weeks. I skipped some of the ad stuff in the beginning, so it's going to start in the middle of the video. Let me know if you can't hear anything.
Can't hear nothing.
Can't hear it?
No.
Okay, I know what I did then. I just realized as I was hitting share there, I have to make
Very
sure
quickly, gentlemen, very quickly, if Bob's going to be using the electronic rules book, which is a 2023 version, and there are some adds and some deletes till you get to the 2026 version. So if the page number doesn't align, the rules reference probably will, but the page number may not.
true, true. So the NFHS, which runs all of high school sports for the most part, they actually make money off the rule books. I was told when I tried to get a Spanish version of the rule book that 70% of their income comes from rule book sales. So they would not give me an electronic copy of a rule book. So you're gonna be going through paper an awful lot, but I gave you an older version just to try and help you out. But there's some things that change. All right, you should be able to hear this now. I changed the setting.
These states. But what do students learn at umpire school? We're putting the foundation down. Students learn the difference between balls and strikes, foul, fair. Guess there's no call for that one. Safe and out. But there's got to be more to it, right? The most important lesson of umpiring, you always have to be honest with yourself. If an umpire makes a mistake, you need to man up and be honest with yourself, and you fix it so it doesn't happen again. So after countless calls and balls, walks and talks, these Blues collect their diplomas and prepare to say goodbye to umpire school, ready to take their place behind home plate at Yankee Stadium. Right, Hunter? Best case scenario, 7 to 9 years to get a full-time major league job. You can go to med school and law school in the same time that it takes an umpire to reach it to the major leagues. Okay, so why would you do it at all? Whether it's Little League or Major League Baseball, every umpire has to sacrifice something for their love of the game. Maybe the majors won't come knocking anytime soon, but thanks to the Wendelstedt Umpire School, these umps are ready to strike out at any opportunity. I really am not sure I get that metaphor. Hunter, that makes perfect sense. Come on.
So what Hunter said was very true. We're trying to lay down a foundation, What I said in my email is you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. There's gonna be stuff that you're gonna need to study on your own. Whatever your motivation level is going to direct your ability is going to directly reflect on your motivation level outside of the class. All right. We'll get into the pre-quiz. So I had 3 people send me their pre-quiz, and the scores were about average. They're about 40 to 50. Um, I'm not going to say who got what, but 50 was probably about the median. And we're gonna discuss these questions, and we're gonna discuss and everybody, the students, you can all unmute. All the students unmute, please. We're gonna discuss some things about the rules, about why we think that as fans of the game, why we think certain things, but why as officials of the game, why we have to rethink those things. All right. Ricky, what do you got for number one?
False.
Well, tell me why it's false.
It's kind of like a trick question to me, but it's false because unless that batter swings the bat, then it's his hands is not a part of it. But unless there's an initial motion to swing, and obviously he tried to swing, that's the only indication that it would be a foul ball or not a hit by
Okay.
pitch.
All right. So first of all, if he starts to swing but check swings and he gets hit on the fingers, it's still a hit by pitch, right? Because
Yeah.
he didn't swing. But you're absolutely right, and that's a great point. That if he swung and got hit by the pitch, it's no longer a hit by pitch. Now it's a strike. But this question is right off of Baseball Rules Myths, question number one, and hands are part of the bat. It seems to be what a lot of people think. No. If it hit the kid, if it hit the kid here on the hand, it hit the kid on the hand. We're not gonna reward the pitcher with a strike on a bad pitch. So that you're right. That one is false. This one is also from Baseball Rules Myths. Let's see. Let me bring up Alex Meyer. Why don't you give this one a shot?
No, false.
It's actually true. So a the rulebook has no reference to the ball hitting the ground first. If a ball hits the ground first, can the batter hit it? Yeah. Vladimir Guerrero was good at that. He did it a couple times. Um, any pitch that hits the ground first can be anything except a called strike. It can be a foul tip. It can be a foul ball. It can be a hit by pitch. So for this one is actually true. Okay. So we're working our way through some rules myths. I'm not trying to trick anybody here. Get that true. I'm just making some points. Home plate is in foul territory. Right? The ones that were given to me, I think everybody got this one right. Home plate is in foul territory. Jason, whoops. I
I
didn't
said
want to go.
false.
And
This one
you're
I
correct.
this one I said false.
You're absolutely correct. Um, Home plate is entirely in fair territory. We'll talk about fair foul in a few minutes, actually. But the diamond is designed has home plate completely within fair territory. Okay, this one is going to take some discussion. Riv, Alex, what do you think?
All right. Yeah, runner may steal base on a foul tip. Yes, true.
Okay, tell me why.
If the catcher catches the ball, then it's still in play. But if it's a foul ball that the catcher doesn't catch, then the runner cannot advance.
I like it. So let's talk about what a foul tip is. A foul tip is actually defined as a ball that hits the bat and goes directly to the catcher's hands or glove. Okay. One thing in the common phrasing on like TV and by people that don't know the terminology of the game is that ball was foul tipped to the backstop. No, it wasn't. It was fouled to the backstop. A foul tip is actually caught by a catcher. So if the ball is foul tipped into the glove, then we have a live ball and the runner can steal a base. Okay, so this is where we start to understand that we need to understand some of the terminology. And there are a couple more questions that I'm not trying to, use trick wording. It's just that our understanding of the terminology needs to be different. There we go. And moving along. If a thrown ball goes out of play, base runners get the base they were going to +1. Alex, let me see, who did I? Oh, Ricky, go ahead. No, I missed somebody. Who did I miss?
Me.
Yeah, go for it, Amelia. Yep.
I think this is true. My understanding of the game. I don't know.
Okay. This is
I always thought you're awarded the base you're going to in +1, but
we're going to talk about base
yeah.
awards in a couple weeks. So where this terminology came from is people see that like a pickoff at first, the base runner is going back to the base, the ball goes out of play, they get second base. So they think, oh well, he got the base he was going to +1, and that's absolutely not the case. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about base awards being based on who threw the ball, um, and whether the award is going to be from the time of the pitch, from the time of the throw, from the time of the infraction. So our base awards are much more complicated than just going. He was going there, plus he gets a base. We have to. There's certain things that we have to know about the play to be able to give base awards, and we'll go into that later. But just know that this is a common misunderstanding of the rule, and we'll go over that in a few weeks. It's complicated, but we'll go over it. We'll give some good time to it. All right, Ricky.
For this, I wrote down false
Okay,
because
tell me why.
because isn't it what they call it's an appeal play, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm here to tell you, you just put a big smile on my face. It is absolutely false because this is an appeal, not a force.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. A force out is by the ball being put in play, and a runner is forced to go forward by means of the batter runner having to go forward. So if we have a runner going back to a base, it's actually the defense appealing that he left early.
Yeah.
So absolutely right. My man.
I have a quick question on that.
Yeah, but
So during the appeal,
yep.
if a pitcher balks, then it's canceled?
Well, this is a continuous action appeal. The throw's coming from the outfielder, right? The throw's coming from the outfielder, and he's trying to double the guy off of first base. So it's still continuous action, but it's a form of an appeal. Okay, and we do have a big rule difference between high school and pro as far as how those kind of appeals are made, and we'll cover that. We have something that's a lot easier. We can stop the circus, but we'll talk about that later. Who's next? Jason, maybe?
Yeah, I said this was true. I remember doing it in Little League and Babe Ruth. That was a long time ago. I don't know if something changed.
They can. as long as the pitcher's not on the rubber. If the pitcher's on, well, we call it the pitcher's plate.
Yep.
I ran out of room, so I put rubber there. But as long as the pitcher's not on the pitcher's plate, then the batter can switch batter's boxes during an at bat. If the pitcher's on the rubber and the batter switches boxes, now we have an out.
Well, I just learned another thing new. I didn't know it was called a pitcher's plate. So
Yeah, yeah.
Now, does the count matter at all or no?
No.
No.
So the pitcher gets one opportunity. It's to the batter gets the last choice of which way. If you have an ambidextrous pitcher and a switch hitting batter, you're not going to see them going back, forth, and all that. The pitcher has to declare which hand he's pitching with, and then the batter can decide.
Okay.
The batter always gets the last choice on that.
Nice.
All right, Alex Meyer.
It's gonna be false.
This is definitely true. Fielder is protected all the way until he releases the ball. That base runner will have to go around him in some way. He's allowed to leave the base path. Even going up to first base, he's allowed to leave the runner's lane in order to avoid a fielder who's fielding the ball.
Is that why runners have to hop over the ball instead of running through the ball?
You know, if you feel like a runner's running over the ball and he's purposely trying to interfere with the fielder, you could probably get an out there.
Okay.
But probably not. But if he's standing there in front of the fielder, waiting for the ball to get to him, and then he gets out of the way, I might call him out there because it's really obvious what he's doing.
Yeah. I know there's a big difference between what they say interference and something else. There's a different word they use.
Obstruction.
Obstruction, yeah.
Yeah, well, interference is always on the offense, obstruction is always on the defense.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy to delineate which is which. Except for catcher's interference, which is on the defense. So in high school, we call it catcher's obstruction.
Okay.
Who hasn't gone twice yet? Here, somebody step up. I don't remember.
I'll go. I'll go. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I never experienced this either playing or my time. So I just took a guess and I said true. I honestly don't know the answer to this one. I never even actually thought about it. So
we're going to cover fair foul in a minute. So say you have a fielder catch a ball and he's straddling the line. He's straddling the foul line, right? And it hit and drops off, right? If his foot is in foul territory, if his foot is in fair territory, makes no difference. It's where the ball was in relation to the foul line when he touches the ball. So we're not looking at the feet. We may need to look at the feet when we're talking about going out into dead ball territory just to see if they're still legal. But fair foul, the feet don't mean a thing. And the last one, who's last? Alex? Alex, you're muted.
The pitcher must come to a complete stop before making a pickoff attempt. Yeah, true.
That's false.
Oh, yeah?
They have to come to a complete and discernible stop to deliver a pitch from the set. But he could be coming set and then throw to first, right? He could be, he could be, he doesn't really need to stop at all to throw to first. When we talk about pickoffs and balks and all that later, we're going you probably heard in the past some things about deceiving the runner. Let's face it, all pickoff attempts have some form of deception to it. So we're not going to think about this deceiving the runner. We're going to think about what the rules are that the pitcher can do and if he's within the rules. All right. But here, they do not have to come to a stop to make a pickoff. I remember my first or second year, I was doing a JV game and I called a balk on something like that. And both coaches said, that's not a balk. I was like, okay, I guess it's not a balk. And then something else happened later. And both coaches said that was a balk. So we balked them. It was ridiculous. So I had a little bit of a hard time understanding some things about pickoff moves when I first started, and because of that, I do cover it pretty well because it was super confusing to me. But, you know, that's you guys are on the first step, so we'll get to that step later. So, we covered all 10. I would say, you know, in general, we're about 50%. By the end of the class, it will be 100% because you need to be 100% on the field. So there's a saying, I'm trying to remember which umpire it was attributed to, probably Bill Clem, that umpiring is the only profession where we're expected to be perfect on opening day and get better from there. The rules is where we really need to shine. So,
Hey, Bob,
yes, sir.
can I chime in for a sec?
Yeah, of course.
So, as you guys saw just on these 10 questions, right? I would say 5 or 6 of them, it was interesting. I saw everybody's like, wow, gee, okay. I wasn't sure, when I played the game. To what Bob said earlier, once you start doing this, you will see this game completely different. I played the game hard. I coached the game hard. I was a prick to umpires when I coached, right? Because as much as you thought you knew the game and you played the game, it is totally different when you put that umpire hat on. As much as you played and thought you were good and everything, it's totally different because the concept of playing and the strategy of playing is totally different than being the umpire knowing the rules. And to Bob's clip he had up there before he showed it, you need to know the rules because when a coach comes to you and says, hey, he's balking this and that, you're going to say, no, he's not. And you know why, because you know what the definition of a balk is. And you're going to be able to just get rid of that coach. And or if you have an issue of a play where there was an interference or something, you're going to understand the rule where you could tell it. Because these coaches, you might get a handful of coaches that really know what they're doing and they know the rules. But I was going to tell you, a lot of them, to what my point just was, as much as I thought I knew it, they don't know the rules. And when you know the rule, you're going to shut that guy up or that gal up really quick when you know the rules. So this is only day 1, hour 1.5, throwing all this crap at you. But as you move forward, you're going to see that all these things where you thought you knew, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting being an umpire. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So I do that pre-quiz just to make some points. It's not so much about the individual rules that we're talking about, but just to point out that we all love the game. We all think we know the game, but as umpires, we really have to know the game. We can't go out there and have something happen and then make a call and a coach ask you why you made the call and you don't have a response. They will know if you're bullshitting them just as much as you will know if they're bullshitting you. All right, so we're gonna move on to fair and foul. You guys looked over the rules in the rule book to just to get a quick overview of it. Okay, so for fair and foul, we have really 4 different ways a ball is called fair or foul. Okay, and we're going to talk about fair first, but foul is going to be very similar. So remember I said we're gonna have 4 different kinds of ways that a ball can be fair or foul. The first one is if a ball is hit and it stops or settles on the field before the bag, you can call it fair or foul right there. The ball is stopped, it's not touched yet. We got a ball that is rolling toward the dugout and it stops, that's when it's foul. The ball that is rolling toward the dugout and is not stopped yet is not fair or foul yet. So, number 1, if the ball settles or stops on fair territory, fair ball. This is the one that can be confusing when it's first touched by a player, by an umpire, by a base, by anything foreign to the ground. When the ball first touches something, if it's fair or foul at that point, then it's a fair or foul ball. You got a fly ball, deep fly ball down the left field corner. The left fielder's running and he hits the ball and it's in fair territory and he knocks it into foul territory off his glove. You got a fair ball, right? And you're gonna have and it's gonna look foul to everybody in the field except you because you're on the line and you're looking right down the line and you see that that ball was first touched in fair territory. And the coach is going to come to you and he's going to say, dude, that ball went 20 feet foul. And you're going to say, coach, it was first touched in the air in fair territory. And he's got no answer. So first touched, where it settles, first touched, bounds, meaning it's hopping. If it hits before the base and bounces past the base, at the point it passes the base is when you determine fair or foul. The front edge of the base. So that ball could hit the corner of the base going this way, going this way rather. As long as it goes over that base and scoots off into foul territory, it passed over fair territory beyond the base. That's a fair ball. I'm sure you've seen that a million times, a hard grounder down the line. It just goes over the edge of the base, goes into foul territory, but it's still a fair ball. So we have settles, first touched, bounds, and our last one is when the ball first lands. So beyond the base. This is important because if it first lands before the base, we have to wait and see if it's going to be fair or foul. I can give you an example of that. But so the ball is again hit into the left field corner. It lands just fair, bounces foul. We have a fair ball. I think everybody here can picture that one the easiest. You can see that it's a fair or foul ball based on where it is. Now, here's a couple funny things about the terminology for us. Our foul line is in fair territory. Our foul pole is in fair territory. So if it hits the foul line or the foul pole, we have a fair ball. Go figure. I call the foul pole the foul screen, or the fair screen, actually. Yeah, I don't even, it's easier to think of it that way. So, and when we talk about dead ball territory, there's some interesting terminology there too. But foul line, foul pole are both in fair territory. Any questions there?
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
that number two, first touch, an umpire is in play.
Yep.
Does that ever happen?
Oh, sure it does.
It's got to be
So
about
you have,
positioning and stuff, but
when we talk about positions in the two umpire system, your field umpire, your base umpire is going to be either behind the first baseman in foul territory, or he's going to be in the middle of the field, right? So if it hits him when you're in the middle of the field, then obviously that's a fair ball. If it hits him behind the first baseman on a line drive, he should be in foul territory. If he's not, if he's got himself partly in fair territory, now we have a problem. We're going to call a fair ball and have a shit show. But depending on where the umpire is positioned, we'll have one in foul or one in fair to begin with. But as soon as it hits the umpire, you're gonna decide a fair or foul ball at that moment. Fair enough. All right, so foul is really similar. We do have a special case with special cases in fair and foul that aren't really related to each other. And the special case for a fair ball is it's a fair ball if it passes out of the field in flight in fair territory. We have that pole bender that goes over the pole in fair territory and then lands 20 feet foul. Anybody familiar with Seaside Park Diamond one, I had a ball, diamond one, pole bender in left field. It hit on that hill. Excuse me, let me get this right. It was actually, it was a foul ball. It was a foul ball. It hit on that hill and shot behind the fence. It looked like it was 20 feet fair by the time it stopped. That was not a good day for the guy that tried to argue with me. But so you're gonna have to know at the time of when it passes the fence if it's fair or foul, because by the time it gets 30 feet past the fence, or like Alex's son who hit the statue past that fence, 50 feet past it, you got to know. You're gonna have to know at that point, and it's hard to determine. I could give you a bunch of examples, but so our special case on fair ball is if it passes out of the field in flight as a fair ball. And now this until 19, let me get the year right, 1924, I think it was not this case. It was where the ball landed. So our pole benders up to Babe Ruth lost a lot of home runs because he would hit a ball down the line that was fair and it landed foul, and by the rules at that time it was a foul ball. Our rules say where it goes when it crosses the fence. So we'll move on to foul ball. This picture here. Let's picture this is the first base foul line, right? And the ball is first touched on the first base foul line with three-quarters of the ball outside the foul line. What do we have here? Somebody venture a guess.
Fair ball.
We have a fair ball because there is still part of that ball on or over fair territory.
In pickleball tournament play, that is out by 3 or 4 inches.
I've never played the game. Good friend of
It's
mine.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because this did happen once on a turf field on a game that I was doing, and it was just like this. It was a ball that stopped between home and first. It was none of the ball itself, the ball proper, was touching the line. None of it was. But the sphere of the ball was touching the line. So the one coach who was for because or who was against, who was on the defense, was arguing, was that a foul ball? I said, no, that was a fair ball because the line is in fair territory and the sphere of the ball was over the line. And he said, well, I've never heard that. And so we talk about it for just a couple minutes and then he storms off. And the other coach at the end of the half inning, he said, "What was he complaining about?" And I told him. He said, everybody knows that." And he probably and the home coach that his batter had bunted the ball. He probably didn't know the rule either. But yeah, that does happen, and it would probably more likely happen on a turf field than on a non-turf field. But it can happen anywhere.
Yeah. And some of the fields we get aren't the best maintained. You may get a ball that's a foot foul, and by the time it gets to the base, it may be a foot fair, or vice versa.
And
So
sometimes
don't
you may
make
not
any.
even have a line.
Yeah, well, so we don't make a call until it either settles, until it is first touched, until it bounds over the base or past the base, excuse me, or it first lands beyond the base. So we don't make any call until it by rule has become fair or foul. You're gonna see umpires that you're gonna see umpires that a ball is hit toward a dugout and they're automatically calling a foul ball, and it makes me cringe because by rule it's really not, even though we know it's going to be a foul ball. But I like to make sure that we wait until by rule it actually is or not. All right, foul balls. We're gonna have uh the same basic tenets here. If it settles on foul territory, completely on foul territory, no part of the ball is over or on fair territory, then we have a foul ball. If it's first touched on or over foul territory before first or third base, we have a foul ball. Bounds past first or third base while completely over foul territory. I'm going to change that slide. While completely over foul territory, then we have a foul ball. Or if it first lands on foul territory. So it's the same thing, just fair versus foul. So remember, settles first touch, bounds or first lands. Those are the key points there. And our special case here is that if a batted ball touches the batter or a bat a second time while the batter is still in the batter's box, then it's a foul ball. If it's batted, goes straight down and comes straight back up and hits the guy in the arm, and he hasn't left the batter's box yet, we have a foul ball. Okay, and that leads us to a definition that we'll talk about. When do we decide? How do we decide if a batter's still in the batter's box or not? And we'll get to that. But there's a definite way to know if the batter is still in the batter's box or not. But just know that if while he's in the batter's box, if the bat ball comes up and hits him or hits his bat, we have a foul ball. So that's our special case. The first four are the same as fair, and we have a special case here. Well, come on now. What's going on here? All right. I like videos. I don't have to talk. There we go.
Daughter's wedding is in a month. I don't want us to look
And I
like
love
Beauty and the
ads.
Beef.
Darling, relax. We have plenty of time. Just
Fair or foul ball, you make the call. A pitched ball is hit by the batter, and the ball goes sharply down and hits the ground behind home plate. Is this a foul ball or fair ball?
All right. So the question here is the ball hit behind home plate, and it's going to go, and then it's going to roll fair. It's going to roll into fair territory. So because the ball hit first behind the plate, does that make it a foul ball? It doesn't fit any of the four categories. It hasn't settled. It hasn't been first touched. It hasn't bounded beyond first or third base, and it hasn't first landed beyond the base. So we don't have a fair foul ball just because the ball hit behind the plate first.
Might expect that.
Okay, here we go.
One might expect that foul and fair balls would be the easiest rule to know in baseball. But, remarkably, this is not the case. Often fans, players, and even coaches.
He first touched the ball on the plate. Is the plate in fair territory? Yeah. So we have a fair ball here.
Get confused. In this video, we have a ball that is hit, and the ball goes directly down to hit the ground behind home plate. It then bounces up and lands on home plate. Finally, the catcher picks up the ball while it is on or over home plate. Would you, if you were the umpire, call this a foul ball or a fair ball?
I want you to notice something, and this is going to come into play very often. Notice the movement of our umpire here. He's not just going to stand there and make the call. He's going to put himself in the best position
to hit the ground behind home
to
plate.
see down a line
Bounces up and lands on home plate.
and to determine if it's a fair or foul ball.
While it is on or
That ball hit the ground, bounced once, and he's already in a great position on the along the foul line to decide if that ball's fair or foul. A lot of what we do isn't noticed. A lot of what we do, people think we're very static, but our job is very dynamic. We're moving all the time.
over home plate. Would you, if you were the umpire, call this a foul ball or a fair ball? Let's see what the umpire declares. The ball is fair. Because when it is touched, it is over fair territory, it is a fair ball. The fact that it first landed on foul territory is irrelevant. Also, home plate and all other bases are in fair territory. Additionally, only the part of the ball needs to be over fair territory, not the entire ball. All bases and chalk lines are fair territory. We will cover more on foul and fair balls in future videos.
Great mechanic by that home plate umpire. Mask off quick, steps out,
Hold on.
gets his body down.
Another ad. Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the best of the best. You have thousands of umpires trying to get one of 76 jobs. You know, you can say all you want about guys like Angel Hernandez or even Joe West. A lot of people have things to say about them, but they really were the best they are the best of the best. Okay, we'll run through a few quick fair foul situations. All right, and we're gonna think of these in terms of where does the ball settle? Where is the ball first touched? Where did the ball how did the ball bound beyond the base, or where did the ball land beyond the base? So Riv, why don't you go first?
All right. Fair.
Okay, why is it fair?
Because in the beginning it says that it was batted, it was lined off F1's knee. So he was in fair
Okay.
territory at the time.
Yep, it was first touched in fair territory. We haven't talked about. Is everybody familiar with scoring baseball? Like what F1, F2, F3, is anybody not familiar with that?
I had no idea what F1 and
I'll
F2
go
is.
over all those on
Okay.
Sunday.
It just to go over this real quick. F1 is the pitcher, F2 is the catcher, 3, 4, 5, 6 are our infielders, 7, 8, 9 are our outfielders. Greg will go over that in more detail on Sunday. So one is the pitcher, 2 is the catcher. I think that's going to be in here a few times. So Riv got it right. It is a fair ball. It's a fair ball the moment the ball contacts a player or umpire on or over fair ground. Okay, Jason, why don't you go? F9 is one of our outfielders.
That's a fair ball
That's
because
a
it
fair ball.
crossed, it landed in fair territory over first and third, and then it went out into foul territory.
Yeah, that first landed beyond the base in fair territory. Right. Very good. Ricky, give it a shot.
Foul ball.
That is a foul ball because the batter was
Strikes again.
still in the batter's box.
Yep. Whether it's 1 foot or not, right?
Okay, we'll talk about it a little bit here. The batter is in the batter's box as long as they do not have 1 foot completely out of the box on the ground. So
Okay.
if it's even if there's a foot on the line with half the foot out of the box, as long as once the ball is batted into play, they're still in the box until they have 1 foot completely out of the box on the ground. So I didn't, it's right here on the slide too. Sorry. All right, Alex Meyer.
Fair.
It is fair. It first contacted something in fair territory. First and third bases are in fair territory. What would it be if it hit second base? It would be a dumb
Fair.
question. Sorry. All right. We have a fair ball. Okay, Emilio.
It'd be fair because it's still touching the line when
Right.
it
This is the
settles.
same as our picture.
Yeah.
That was a simple one. Let's see if I can find a harder one for you next time.
Hey
All
Bob,
right.
Greg, I'm getting old. I gotta go. You guys know the deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Thanks, thanks, Gio.
Guys,
We're
welcome. You guys have a good night.
okay. I'm gonna be calling it in about 10, 15 minutes anyways.
No problem. I see the replay. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody's
Thanks.
patience today. All right. Who went first? I don't remember. I can never remember. Riv, why don't you give this
I'll
one a shot?
go foul ball.
Let me see here. Got pictures in the way.
Batted.
That is a foul ball. It was first touched before the base in foul territory. Yep, that's correct. All right, Jason.
It's a fair ball.
Now that one is a foul ball because it's a line drive. It's not bounding over the base. It's first lands beyond the base in foul
Oh,
territory.
it's fly ball over and then lands out. Yeah, it's a foul ball. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. And that's one that I've seen mistakes on because you're zoned in on pulling over the bag and then you forget if it's a line drive or a bounding ball. So no worries. Um, who's up, Ricky?
Fair ball.
That is a fair ball. I talked about something similar earlier. Yep. I think that might be the last one. Okay. We'll talk about foul tip. We talked about foul tip in the in the pre-quiz. So we need to know the terminology of this. Foul tip, I talked about it already. A foul tip is a ball that is off the bat and goes directly to the catcher's hands or glove. Um, it's a strike, a live ball, and in play. But it has to be a ball that's caught. If it goes off the bat directly to the glove and comes to the ground, foul ball, foul. Everything stops there. But if the catcher does catch it, we have a live ball. I wonder if I can. I have a video of one of our guys, um, one of our base guys doing a good job where we had something like this. It was a stolen base, and the runner was going, and one of the fielders said that was a foul ball, and the kid started to go back, and our umpire did a good job of like, no, that's not a foul ball. That's a foul tip. Stay there. You know, I'm not a proponent of telling kids how to play the game, but if they're being given bad information by the other team, we're gonna make sure the fair play is in effect here. All right, all right. There's a couple foul tip examples.
But it's certainly exciting. Congratulations.
All right. Evidently, I had some music going there. Let's start that over. Is it? Hold on. Let me see if it's still playing.
But it's certainly
All
exciting.
right. We're gonna do this minus the music. Okay. Directly to the catcher's glove. He caught it. Even though it wasn't caught at the first moment, it went directly to the catcher's glove. And then it was legally caught. So we have a foul tip because it's legally caught. And I believe this one is strike three. And watch the umpire's mechanics on these. These are great. Foul tip, foul tip. He's out. So it happens. We're not telling you weird stuff that never happens. It's baseball. You're going to see something new every single day. We are not going to go over the catch today. I'm going to go over one more quick thing. I thought it was on these slides, but I'm going to give me 1 second. Find it in here. This will be the last topic for the day. If I can find it. You know exactly what I'm looking for. So, in past years, while I'm looking for this, in past years, we've spent probably 20, 25 hours on rules. I have over 300 slides available to go over. We're not doing that this year. We're going to hit key points, not because I want to give you guys less, but because I want to give you guys the important stuff. And once you get to the field is when stuff really starts to stick. Where is it? Come on. Must have missed it. Oh, no, that's not it. Why did I miss it? There we go. This is the one. Last thing we're going to talk about is balls and strikes. Why did that happen? What is the actual strike zone? The strike zone has been the strike zone has been evolving over the past couple years, not because the rule has changed, but because of the way the game is being officiated has changed. We have a lot of video, we have a lot of um, technology that, when geared toward the rulebook strike zone, has changed the way that we officiate the game. So this is kind of an analogy I make. It's a little extreme, but our strike zone, that's interesting. You can't see my phone. That is weird. Our strike zone for years has been.
I'll do it, Bob. I got it,
Yeah,
Bob.
there you go. Thank you.
You got to take off the filter, and then you can see your
I
phone.
guess
That's
so.
why.
The
Yeah.
strike zone used to be more like this, and now the strike zone is more like this.
The strike zone that Alex is showing now is our rulebook strike zone, right? That goes by this definition here. The top of the strike zone is halfway between the batter's shoulders and waistline. The bottom is the knees. The bottom is actually the hollow beneath the kneecap. Okay. So the reason that the strike zone used to be wider, Alex, show them the wider version. The reason the strike zone used to be wider is because we caught less crap not calling the top of the zone, and we caught less crap calling the wide pitches because they can't tell from the dugouts. So the strike zone for a long time was basically line to line, batter's box to batter's box, but it was very narrow in this direction. We can't do that anymore. So when you guys start, you're going to start doing some plate work this coming week, some very basic stuff. The week after, we'll have the pitching machines going, and we want you to call a rulebook strike zone. We want the edges of the strike zone to be if the ball actually touches white. Now, in the high school or JV, we may stretch that out a little bit, but I'm here to tell you, if you stretch it out too much, you have good pitchers that can take advantage of that, and they'll be throwing a ball or two off the plate and they're going to hit that spot every time. And if you're going to call it every time, you're not doing a service to the game. You've just changed the playing field. It's not level anymore. we've talked to coaches, we've talked to players over the last 3 or 4 years, explaining to them that we call a true strike zone. And and if somebody doesn't follow along with that because they're old school and this is the way I learned the game, um, it's going to put the batters at a disadvantage because they know the strike zone. They go to their practices and they have Rep Soto, they have TrackMan, they have all these things, all these track pitching aspects, track pitching technology in their practices where they can see, where they get used to that's a ball, that's 2 inches off, that's a ball, and if they're taking a ball that they know is a ball and we're calling it strikes, it just doesn't do the game justice. So
Well,
that
Bob, can I
said,
chime in for 1 second?
yeah, I was soapboxing a little bit there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Just real quick, gentlemen, is the reason that it changed from the wider strike zone to the more vertical strike zone as Alex rotated his phone is because we used to umpire for the dugouts, and like Bob said, they can't see in and out; they can see up and down. And now we're umpiring for the cameras. And if you're thinking that there's not somebody videoing a game that you do, a freshman game, a summer little league game, anything, they've got Game Changer, they've got cameras behind the backstops. Every kid's mother has a camera, so we are umpiring for the cameras, and that's why the strike zone changed. Well, one of the reasons, anyway.
Yeah, it's a different game, and I appreciate it. From one of my spring assigners, I do TrackMan training, and I get evaluated game by game on my TrackMan scores. So, it's entirely possible. And we'll work with you on techniques for your eyes, techniques for your positioning to get that. But I'm here to tell you, and I'll tell anybody that asks, calling balls and strikes accurately is probably the hardest thing to do in officiating any sport.
It's the most fun though.
It is the most fun. Robert's good. Robert has a good zone,
Love
so
it, love it.
yeah, it's fun. It's I want to be behind the plate. I want to run the show. I want to call balls and strikes. It's where we make our bread, our money. That's our bread and butter right there, is being a good plate umpire. All right, let's talk about the rule real quick. The strike zone, that space over the plate, the top of which is halfway between the batter's shoulders. Let me just do this. This box is maybe a little high. The top of the batter's shoulders, the bottom is here, so it's a midpoint right here. And the hollow beneath the kneecap, I could probably even go a little bit lower than this line here. So this here is our top and bottom of the strike zone. When you watch a game on TV, this one and this one, let me back that off a little bit. This one and this one on the telecast, this one and this one are static. When umpires get graded, their technology actually adjusts to the batter. You got Aaron Judge, who's here and here, or excuse me, you got Aaron Judge, who's here and here, and you got Jose Altuve, who's here and here. So that you're going to see the same box on TV, but it's not the same strike zone. And I think we will call it a night from here. Does anybody have any questions for me? Any comments? I really appreciate you all being here. This is a good. We're off to a good start. This is going to be a fun journey. Trust me. Sundays are going to be a blast. Remember that on Sundays you're going to be. Let me stop sharing this. On Sundays you're going to be doing some visualization until we get out to the field. So just know that we're trying to point you in the right direction. And we're definitely want to get the best out of you. It's winter. We understand that, but welcome aboard. And that's probably the last thing I have to say.
Hey, Bob, and Greg, in the first hour of Sundays, are we going to be doing some classroom stuff, or are we just going right into the?
Yeah, every Sunday that we'll meet in the cafeteria first, and there will probably be a little bit of admin. There'll be a little bit more this week because we missed last week. So I've got some slides to and some handout stuff to give to everyone. Um, but we will spend a little bit of time in the cafeteria first before every session, and then we'll head to whatever our training objectives are for the
So the
day.
reason I asked was I recommend to the students to once you get your rule books, I recommend you bring them with you every Sunday in a notepad, um, highlighter, whatever you have. And as we talk about things in that session in the cafeteria, you may want to jot yourself down some notes, and especially like these nights here. Once you have this book, you're going to be following with the book. You can make yourself notes, highlight whatever, however you guys do it to make it comfortable for you, but it's going to just help you down the road. And the way Bob does this, it's he's got this set up week to week where you're going to go through this whole book, and you guys are going to be so far ahead of the game compared to the average umpire. So just absorb this stuff is all I'm trying to say. The rule stuff. It gets a little dry, but it's interesting. And you guys just saw tonight, like I mentioned earlier, just on those few questions, it was an eye opener.
Because here's the thing, I should have all of your calendars. I don't care
That's
what.
all I got. See you
Okay.
guys Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The next Wednesday's coming up. It won't be this long. I appreciate you guys, hanging in there for a couple hours. But I'll try not to. I'll try not to talk too much over the next few weeks. I just want to get you. I want to get you off to a solid start. I'm waiting on.
Good night, guys.
I was hoping to have one visitor come, but he's not going to be here. Maybe I'll have him come next week. I'm